Welcome, Warlords, to Saga Thursday, the show all about the skirmish miniatures game from Studio Tomahawk. I'm your host, Rodge. Diving into another battle report in the campaign between Monte and I over the fate of the Baltic region. You'll need to listen to the monthly episodes to get all the sordid details. But suffice it to say, Monte's Crusaders are having a tough time against my pagans. Per the campaign rules, the loser of each battle gets to stack the odds in his favor for the next one. And if you lose more than once, well, you really get to pile it on. So one part of the campaign is trying out as many variations as we can. And we're playing Catch Them All today. This is a legendary scenario. Probably the most fair and balanced one, I would say, but still probably not suitable for tournaments or anything like that. Instead of killing or capturing or controlling objectives, you are literally herding them back to your deployment zone. Because of the nature of this scenario, I think we only had 3 melees and maybe 3 shooting attacks as well. So this is going to be an abbreviated version, giving you the broad strokes. So let's jump right into Monte's first turn, and I'll explain things as we go along. The deployment zone for this scenario is within medium of the corner, so there's no way you can fit all your troops on the board. Thought I was being clever, placing a large field in Monte's deployment zone, but he has a unit of scout mercenaries there to counteract that. Those are the guys in red next to his warlord. He starts with 2 units of 6 bow warriors on the table. Brings on a unit of mounted warriors, followed by a 12-pack of warriors on foot, no special equipment. And finally, a unit of pilgrims. So Monte's playing the Levantine Crusaders, not the Baltic Crusaders. So one thing to clarify is these are not the fanatical pilgrim mercenaries that generate Saga dice when they die. They are just the normal levy option for Crusaders, which are armor 3 in melee and shooting, unarmed, and they can throw rocks, I guess. They're kind of crappy, but having them on the board generates a boatload of additional abilities. So as he continues to move his units, I'll sort of explain the general battle plan here. Monte follows every turn. Since the objective is to get the cows off the board, most of his Saga dice are used on activating his units for movements, and then following it up with the Peasant's Crusade, which lets all his warrior and levy units activate a second time for no fatigue. So Monte doesn't have any Hearthguard, so that's pretty much the entire army. Not too shabby. So the cows will move kind of randomly at the end of the turn if nobody's nearby. I'll talk about how you wrangle these suckers when Monte starts his next turn. But for now, it jumps to me. And I'm using the Eastern Princes, the pagan version. So we've mixed up the battle boards a bit in our campaign. So the pagan peoples are top-notch. After several wins in a row, I've agreed to mix it up with the Eastern Princes, which could be more of a challenge. Definitely a different style of gameplay. I am totally gummed up in my corner here. Monte put down a steep hill and then a marsh nearby. I'm just trying to get my troops out there as best I can. I've got 2 units of 6 warriors with heavy weapons on foot, a unit of levy with bows, and then I'll move on. 2 units of 4 mounted Hearthguard with javelins, and a big 12-pack of warriors with heavy weapons. So I don't have anything like Peasant's Crusade to get mass activations, but I do have a great ability in hesitation. I can put a common Saga dice there, and every time Monte pops the Peasant's Crusade, I get to place 2 rare dice on my battle board at the start of my next turn. So Monte's using Peasant's Crusade pretty much every turn, so I get to use that ability pretty much every turn as well. I've got to do some double moves to get into the action, and I end the turn with just Lords of the East on my board. This grants a unit of Hearthguard, Resilience 1, and a melee. So back to Monte here. So the way to herd the cattle is if you activate for a movement and you're within very short of one of them, the cattle will activate for a movement of short on their own first, and then you resolve the movement of your unit. If you use a unit of cavalry for this, they will take a fatigue as well. So Monte's mounted warriors will take a fatigue when they activate. Design up my Hearthguard. First, he will activate all his other units with dice, and then at some point he'll switch to Peasant's Crusade to charge in his horsemen into my fatigued Hearthguard without generating a fatigue themselves. And since it is a charge, it doesn't affect the cattle in any way. He uses my fatigue to make me easier to hit. I use his fatigue to make him easier to hit. And then I pop Lords of the East so I can absorb 3 hits. I end up taking 4 though, so 1 goes down and I kill about half of Monte's warriors. After that, Monte continues to activate the rest of his units. And at this point, they can taste the beef. Back to me. And with my 2 free rare dice from Hesitation, I use them on Galvanize to get rid of fatigue and put a rare in the activation pool to max out my Saga dice. And I do that pretty much every turn. This turn, I get the levy moved up after a rest and take some pot shots at his cav. 2 go down, but looking back, I had to use a We Obey and 2 Saga dice to accomplish this, and I really needed to get the rest of my troops moving here. I do declare a charge with my Hearthguard with 2 fatigues into the 2-pack of warriors to try and wipe them out, but Monte just cancels that. That ends my turn, but right at the start of Monte's next turn, with his first movement activation, I use the Feint ability, which allows me to move a mounted unit. So I'm activating the Hearthguard up front again, just to get him out of the way and move that damn cow. I'm a little nervous about his shooting, so I do hang back a bit. After that, the mass activations commence. I should note that the cattle can be moved twice per turn. Just a couple things to note. Monte takes some pot shots with his archers at my Hearthguard, but I make my saves, and then he's really got these pilgrims hustling here. They've already made it to the middle of the field. On my turn, I plan to launch an attack on Monte's warlord. I charge my 3-pack of Hearthguard into his archers. The plan is to drive them off, and then my warlord can follow up into his warlord, and since my Hearthguard are nearby, I'll be able to use the Droog ability. Unfortunately, it's ill-fated from the get-go. To get the angle on the second move with my warlord, one of my Hearthguard need to die, so I can't use Lords of the East like I had planned. Monte does kill one exactly, so that opens the corridor. But I've got this damn cow next to my warlord, and the way that I put my dice and where everybody is standing, I just don't have a way to move the cow before my warlord moves. So he moves the cow. He does his full move, but takes a fatigue. And then on the second follow-up, Monte uses that fatigue to reduce my charge to short, so it's canceled. And that's pretty much it for this turn. I just continue to plot up as best I can, but it's starting to slip away from me here. On Monte's turn, he continues to fall back with those damn cows. I do use Feint to move up my other 4-pack of Hearthguard during his turn. Monte plinks a few shots on my other Hearthguard unit, already fatigued, and takes a couple out. He moves up the pilgrims in between my warlord and my fresh 4-pack, but otherwise it's mostly pulling them darn cows back. And as I start my turn, it's quite clear I don't have a path to victory. You only get points for the cows, and I have 1 to his 5 at this point. All I can do is smash in my Hearthguard into those darn pilgrims. I use Droog to double my attacks. And with the javelins and rerolls, I get 16 hits. He only saves 2, so the entire unit is wiped out in one go. The cost is both my Hearthguard and Warlord are exhausted, and that's where we're going to end it. Monte had a plan going in, focused on the objectives, and took it home. I needed to be way more thoughtful and aggressive with my early moves to even have a chance. You really got to shoot out to the middle early, so at least you have a tug-of-war, and then you have some interesting decisions on whether you charge them or try to move the cows. A second game would be very different, I think. In any case, we'll be chatting about this battle, I'm sure, in the monthly episode next Thursday. And as the loser here, I get the chance to set the terms for the next battle. I'll be using the Eastern Princes again, but I'm thinking more of a pitch battle situation to really see how this battle board can play out. I hope this was interesting. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Saga!